There's no place to escape to.
This is the last podcast.
On the left.
From your glade.
That's when the cannibalism started.
What was that?
You know, it only costs $1,000 to secure yourself a grave plot.
Does it really?
Yep.
Is that how we're going to start the episode? It's kind of interesting.
Excuse me, you're a very tall man.
Uh-oh.
Very tall man sitting so close to me here
Yes.
on the subway. This is so nice.
Grandpa, what's going on here?
No, you seem to be stepping on my foot. Some people would find that to be some sort of inconvenience, some sort of social accident on your
Right.
part. But in fact, I have ejaculated.
Oh, no. All right, I didn't mean to make you do that.
Oh, you
All
did, though.
I'm sorry. This is the last podcast on the left, everyone. I am Ben Kissel, Marcus Parks right there. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. How about you?
Very good. And with us in studio together, but it's been so long. What's that song? It's been so long since we've been together.
Back together. We're back together again.
My humps.
Yeah, something like that. Henry Zabrowski.
Oof, yeah, it is me. And I'll tell you what, as soon as I start reading this super horrible details of the story, I begin to have one.
Uh-oh, I don't like it. Okay, so why the German accent, you might be asking? We're going to talk about one of the worst Germans in U.S. history, which puts him as one of the worst human beings. Wait, we're going to talk about one of the worst Germans in German history, which puts him atop the list of maybe one of the worst people in world history.
Yeah.
Peter Kürten is this man's name.
Peter Kürten, a.k.a. the Vampire of Dusseldorf, is among the most sickening, reprehensible, straight-up terrifying monsters that we'll ever cover on this show. Ooh. The very real representation of what an actual vampire would be.
Peter Kürten is a man of nightmares.
Yep.
I think that when we cover him, I feel like a part of what you're gonna see as we delve into the world of Peter Kürten, it's not a pleasant world. Incredible mustache.
Honestly, really one of the best mustaches I've seen in a long time. H.H. Holmes or Peter Kürten, better stash who you got?
Oh, I mean, H.H. Holmes.
Yeah.
H.H. Holmes has got a better mustache. I'm going to give it to the American. Thank you very much.
Okay, all right.
I think Peter
Very
Kürten.
patriotic.
Peter Kürten has sort of a diagonal Hitler, which is before it wasn't a Hitler at the time.
No.
It was a chaplain at the time, and so you can sort of forgive that. The only thing you can forgive him of is wearing the Hitler mustache at the time.
Okay, interesting.
Well, the term vampire actually seems insufficient to describe Kürten. He is a true blood-sucking creature of chaos and death, killing without reason, pattern, or conscience. Scarier than even the most gruesome piece of folklore.
He's living his #worst life.
I see. Okay, so when it comes to vampires, we covered Richard Chase, of course, vampire of what was that?
Sacramento.
And now Kürten. When did vampires become sexy? Because both of these guys are horrifying, and there were so many girls growing up in high school. I blame Brad Pitt for this.
Oh, yeah.
Being like, vampires are the sexiest. But this is what they look like in real life.
And Rice is who to blame.
And Rice.
It started with Bram Stoker's Dracula. Bram Stoker, because Dracula was a count. He was a fashionable man.
Sure.
They used that. They made him. He was old money. He was mysterious. The movie did that. Bela Lugosi is actually the first one we can blame for turning Dracula sexy. Because at the time, yes, his cigar-laden lips now are not attractive. But back in the day, he used to make girls snarch.
Really?
All over the place. But Richard Chase, I think, is actually what they called him the Vampire of Sacramento, and I think it's mostly because of the blood play and his obsession with blood. But he is closer to a true folklore. Peter Kürten is closer to a true folklore version of the vampire, which is something that is essentially a monster. It's also, we're going to hit again and again, it's some of my European serial killers too, that fill out these sort of folklore type creatures. Because you remember way back in the day, if you get in your Wayback Machine, you listen to the werewolf episodes that we did, we remember that the werewolf, the idea of that basically came from a description of old-timey serial killers. And so now it's like, but of anybody fits the description.
Right.
It's Peter Kürten.
Now, I would actually go as far as to say that Peter Kürten is the cloth from which the more infamous serial killers of the 20th century were cut. He's got the brutality of Ramirez, the deadly charm of Ted Bundy, the sadism of Dennis Rader, and the erratic victim selection process that made Andre Chikatilo so difficult to catch.
And he also has the jump shot of Larry Bird. Little-known fact. Great at one-on-one basketball.
And you know why he remains in white man basketball travel history? Accuracy. That's all he had to have back in the day.
That was it.
But he also, for me, Peter Kürten's a creature of pure control.
Yeah.
And I think that we'll get deeper and deeper as we talk about what seems to be the insynchronicities of his personal life and his life as a serial killer. I think it's all about total, complete control over every aspect of his personality and life.
Hold on a second. See, this is where every time you always lose me in an episode. You're telling me there's a German who wants complete control. Complete control.
I don't know why the Germans make all the bad things. I like chocolate.
They can own chocolate. They deserve complete control of chocolate.
And I will, as a 90-year-old man, I've told Natalie, if she does not kill me when I'm on my deathbed by smothering me with her vagina, she has to drown me in a bucket of Paulaner.
Okay.
I love Paulaner.
Oh, it's a great beer.
Well, the Germans do get a bad rap because before like World War I and especially World War II, Germany was known as, it was called the land of thinkers and poets because it produced a lot of wonderful artists, a lot of wonderful writers. You know, it produced Albert Einstein. Like for the longest time, Germany was a very, very respected country when it came to intellectualism.
Honestly, all we needed to do, get in a time machine, bring Al Bundy to that era in Germany, clean him up. Get out of here, you thinkers and you poets. Al Bundy. An American hero.
If you were going to choose one person, it's because Al Bundy is a character as portrayed by another man. So you're going to take the actor. What's his name?
You're going to take Ed Neal.
Ed O'Neill. Yes.
You're going to take Ed O'Neill, the actor, living comfortably, I imagine, somewhere in the Burbank or beautiful San Fernando Valley area of Los Angeles in 2018, and then you're going to bring him to pre-World War II Germany.
World War I. Yeah, yes, absolutely. And clean it up. Get those thinkers out of there. Come on.
Well, getting the thinkers out of there, that's how the Nazis came to power.
Yeah,
dude.
I'm going to say this. Okay, well, maybe that did happen then. I will say this, though.
They did literally get all the thinkers out of there. That's what the whole thing was.
Okay, I'm just going to say this, though. If everyone's like, I'm a thinker, just got to ask one question, what you thinking about? Like, if it's something that happened in Germany, that ended up happening in Germany, then you got to say you shouldn't think about that.
I will say in Germany, it would have been better if we had a lot less doers.
Yes.
Well, like Andre Chikatilo, Kürten killed women and children, but Kürten was somewhat different in that he killed a few men as well. The only things that mattered to Kürten when he selected victims was that he wouldn't get caught and the victim would have no chance of overpowering him. Peter Kürten even shares something with Ed Gein. Just as Gein inspired Psycho, Peter Kürten was one of the main inspirations for the very first true serial killer movie, Fritz Lang's masterpiece, M.
And if you are, let's say you're one of the later generation millennials, it has a character actor in it, which you probably have not even heard of, is a man named Peter Lorre, who's got one of the, thank you, one of the best voices in the world, one of the most fun, compelling actors in the world. So go into your grandfather's closet and find one of these films and share a moment with an uncle. Share a moment with your papu.
Well, you have to be an old uncle.
It would have to be like a decrepitly old uncle. That movie came out in 1932.
Was Peter Lorre ever in a Hollywood Square? Was he ever one of the people in a Hollywood Square?
Actually, possibly. I know because he was in Casablanca.
Yeah.
He did a lot of stuff. We knew Peter Lorre because he was in Looney Tunes a lot of times as a character, and he'd show up like this. And it's like it's a fun little voice. He's so fun. He's so tiny, and he fucked.
I don't know.
Now, while Lang said that M was also inspired by two other German serial killers at the time, the main character, Hans Beckert, shares far more with Peter Kürten than any of the others in Germany at the time. And I say any of the others because Germany, before, during, and after World War I, had an explosion of serial killing totally unmatched in Europe, or so it seemed.
Is there like a sound for like, I'm the least shocked? Like,
whoa. Well, reserve judgment for a little bit, but first, let's hear about some of these German serial killers. Karl Denke, a.k.a. Papa Dinky.
AKA Stinky Dinky. I think we know that.
That's funny.
I think we know what's going on.
I hate this. I hate it.
He killed and ate at least 30 homeless vagrants between 1903 and 1923.
Vagrants denotes homeless.
Right.
Jeez.
Well, now, while very little is known about Papa Dinky's life because he hanged himself 2 days after being caught, we know the number of victims and the length of his spree for two reasons. One, he kept a ledger that listed each and every murder.
Fucking Germans.
Just imagine your last words being like, come to Papa Dinky. Like, oh, I want to vomit right now.
But it's like, come to Papa Dinky. He's like, I see him as a big Augustus Gloop style, handlebar mustache, being like, oh, look at your dirty feet. They are going to make some most delicious sausages.
It's disgusting.
Glistening, his skin all tight with nitrates.
Like, sir, is your tub full of chocolate? That's not chocolate.
I will tell you, you will not know for sure unless you get in. Oh, my little treat, my little chocolate-covered vagrant.
That's not chocolate, sir. That is not chocolate, sir.
Papa Dinky's dookie.
Ah, Stinky Dinky.
Well, the other reason why they knew he had so many victims was because when police searched his house after a homeless man ran out of his door with an axe wound to the head, they found dozens of jars of pickled body parts and piles of bones that could have added up to as many as 42 people.
Jeez.
You know that if he really was in character, you'd have a couple, you'd have labeled like Kim Chi. You know what I mean? Like he would do like funny little puns, like Haunted Mansion style puns.
Yeah. Wow.
Tom Ato Jam. So I don't know.
It's actually that's pretty clever. Actually, this is horrific. How come we haven't heard about this guy before? He ate more than Dahmer did.
There's not a lot to Poppy Dinky.
There's very little known about Papa Dinky because he hung himself 2 days after he was caught, and this is the early 1900s when a lot of this was happening. So there wasn't a whole lot of records kept. All they knew is that he was born, I think, in Eastern Europe somewhere. He moved to Germany. He played organ in the church on Sundays.
I bet he did. And he keeps bringing in stomachs. Being like, oh, funny little joke. See how I play the organ again for you. No one's laughing.
Of course he did.
Well, the worst part about Papa Dinky, though, is that he not only ate his victims, but reportedly he sold the flesh to unsuspecting customers in the local store he ran. Although there's no proof of that.
There seems to be a lot of that in this time period in Germany, as we'll see as we get into the life of Peter Kürten and his childhood friends.
Right.
People just bought a lot of just like bags of meat without asking a lot of questions about where the meat came from.
Yeah. It is interesting, though, because I would like to see the Yelp reviews. I'm sure somebody loved it.
That's how you know a real Yelp review is, because that's what we've been doing recently. Every single time we say Yelp it, we go,
Someone had to be somebody's favorite butcher.
Well, there was another guy that actually did pretty much the same shit. His name was Karl Grossman, a.k.a. the Berlin Butcher. He murdered up to 50 people during World War I and sold the meat from his victims at a hot dog stand that he ran next to a Berlin train station.
So what you're telling me is it's a great time to be a cow. Like if this is like cow history, be like, we were totally safe. No idea what they were eating, but it wasn't us, so we were happy.
It was the founders of Chick-fil-A. They knew those happy dominance cows back in the day. My question is I actually wonder if we were joking that it may be people's favorite butchers, but people have said time and time again that human meat is very delicious in terms of like it's got a lot of fat content, especially if they're big and it's sweet. So I actually wonder if that is true. I wonder if it gets to a point where if you're buying a certain amount of meat, you're eating a hot dog. We don't know what the fuck's in a hot dog right now.
No
I don't know.
idea.
It's those assholes and fucking knee meat, whatever the fucking else is around. And there are a certain percentage of bug parts are allowed in it and poisons.
Yep. Well, and Germans have a lot of sweetbreads.
Yeah.
A lot of meat and
I like all that.
It probably wouldn't taste that bad.
I'm getting hungrier and hungrier the more we talk about it.
Then there was Johann Mayer, a.k.a. John Mayer.
Of course. I can't. Did he want to be a comedian? Like, oh my God. I can't even. Your body is a wonder. What does that even mean? Like, come on.
Body's wondering.
It's just like,
Well, because Johann Mayer's left arm was amputated below the elbow, his actual nickname was Stumpf Arm.
Sweet.
I do like that.
I like arm.
See, that is
I like
just
a
so
named right to the point.
Right to the point, and it's so German to be like, it's not the one-armed man, it's the one stump man. It's like, we're going to focus mostly on the stump because that's the abnormality, and that's the thing we're all staring at. We're not even going to notice the arm.
No, you go to Germany, and a lot of people's nicknames, I imagine, are stuff like ugly face and fat belly.
Whatever is the worst characteristic, lead with it.
Oh, yeah. And fucking Stumpf Arm, he shot and killed 5 people in 1918, and in one double murder, he cut off the hands and heads of his victims and switched them to, quote-unquote, disguise his actions.
But there's still decapitated heads and decapitated arms, and the other bodies are over there.
Yeah, absolutely. They kind of describe his actions more than disguise it. Also, doesn't he know anything? He's got to put a chainsaw on the stump. That's what you do when you got the stump arm.
I will tell you, I was not one guilty of these crimes. Blames Stump. He always wanted Knuckles.
I did it.
I'm Susan the Stump. Oh, he's never talked out loud before. It's always inside my mind telling me to not do it, not do it, not do it.
Then, of course, was the one that many of you already know, Fritz Haumann, a.k.a. the Wolfman, who deserves an episode all of his own. He killed at least 24 boys and young men between 1918 and 1924, ripping out the throats of his victims with his own teeth in what he called his love bite.
Oh, God.
And that's not even mentioning Adolf Seefeld, a.k.a. Uncle Tic Tac.
No, come on now. We can't have a Stinky Dinky and an Uncle Tic Tac in one episode.
I will say, Papa Dinky is a funny name. Yeah. Uncle Tic Tac, though, reminds me of the puppet from Saw. Like, it reminds me, Uncle Tic Tac is like Babadook, where it's like a funny name, but it's a fucking very terrifying entity.
Absolutely.
Yeah, his MO was among the most specific I've ever heard, as he exclusively poisoned little boys who were wearing sailor suits.
Yeah, you know why? Because they were making fun of the uniform of our boys.
Really?
They're out there. They are appropriating sailor culture.
Right, sure.
He killed like 10 of them.
Gotta be. I would. Nothing infuriates me.
Hell?
Can you imagine how much rage I would have created as a little boy if I just walked around in a sailor suit, being like, "Bet you can't buy me any candy because you're broke, old man."
They'd buy you some candy, I guarantee you that, just to get you to leave them alone.
Now, of course, there's the question here. You got it. You got it.
Get you to leave them alone.
I was ignored, and it's why I am the way I am.
Okay.
Now, of course, there's a question here. Why Germany had so many serial killers in the early 20th century? And I'll admit that this was a question that's far too large for us to definitively answer.
It requires a lot of sources.
But the thing is, we actually do have a couple here, because in helping me with the research for this, Carolina came up with a couple of possibilities.
She's become a real Patty Hearst in your home. She really is just adopting. She just gave in and she flipped. Yeah, Marcus did it. She flipped because she knew she had to get into it. She had to help, because if not, she was going to go insane, or Marcus was going to kill everybody.
Fully indoctrinated. Interesting.
Part of the reason why we worked is because she did this long before we even met.
Okay.
Well, she came up with some possibilities. It's possible that Germany had no more serial killers than anyone else. What's more likely is that the Germans were just better than everyone else at catching them.
There were a lot of super cops, it seemed like.
Specifically this one dude, Ernst Gnott.
Cool.
He had a clearance rate of 90%.
Now, do we know that he wasn't just arresting anyone?
I asked that same question.
Okay. Because I could have if I'm a cop, I could have a great record if I just grab you and be like, "You're guilty."
You did it.
Okay.
You're like, what? Yeah, we saw West Memphis 3. It can happen again and again.
Well, there is actually not just that, but this guy completely redefined how policing was done in Germany. Like, he came up with the partner system. He came up with the rotation system. And starting in his early 20s, this guy was born to be a cop. Like, this guy, he was one of the fathers of modern profiling. He even coined the term serial killer in 1930. He was the first one to use it, although he called it Serienmörder.
Oh, cool. I think he was also the first cop to be solely fueled by horrible coffee and donuts.
Yeah, he made
that's
it.
what does it.
Actually, he was grossly overweight. And
Good for him!
And had to stop being a cop because he was too fat.
That's the best retirement of all.
It's the greatest retirement of all.
Retirement by strudel. That's very, very interesting. I wonder where the basis for it comes from. I wonder why it's in Germany. Like, why did they have the gumption?
Efficiency. I mean, they are a highly efficient and highly intelligent people.
Again, what's the sound for least shocked?
Well, the thing is that Carolina found an article that supported the fact that, he probably did have a 90% clearance rate that was pretty clean. She found an article called Rethinking the Weimar Republic, 1916 to 1936. It said, despite the widespread perception that serial murder was rampant in Germany during that time, there was actually a 40% decline in the German murder rate in the 20s. Now, not to raise too many alarm bells here, but...
Well, yeah, like how though, Marcus? It doesn't seem like there's anything to be alarmed about. Everything is really normal. The news cycle is really quiet and sleepy, and we're all just enjoying Halloween with no distractions.
But Weimar Republic Germany, where fascism was on the rise and the Nazis were coming into power, they were absolutely obsessed with true crime. Not unlike America is in this day and age.
Interesting. Let's move on.
Yeah, because it's a weird correlation between the entire government changing towards the worse and a bunch of people watching serial killer material as if it's sports games.
Yeah, okay, interesting. But that is quite fascinating.
Yeah, I mean, it was just a part of the culture of Germany at the time, is that despite things being the least violent that they ever were in Germany, the widespread perception was that crime was rampant, crime was everywhere, and people were absolutely obsessed with true crime. So they talked about it all the time. They wrote articles about it. They wrote books about it.
Which is why we read more about German serial killers than we would, because essentially what I imagine is sort of like either the pulpy magazines or that kind of the true crime literature at the time would build up the ideas of all of these murderers and shit, which is why we're getting them now.
Yeah.
Which is why maybe in other cultures, a lot of it had the reason why we don't hear a lot about, because the closest country we get to Germany is France, but like we don't hear a lot about Italian serial killers and shit like that because
the Monster of Florence was a pretty big one in Italy.
But the Germans, they talked about it. Like how we know every time you hear a crazy story, you're like, that's Florida. But in reality, that's also like Wisconsin and Arkansas. It's just the sunshine laws and stuff like that.
Yeah, we just know all of the details in every single crime in Florida because of the laws as to how much the newspapers can access criminal records in Florida.
And they were still were they doing like newsreels when they went to the cinema? It was all newsreels, right? So this is probably pretty exciting stuff.
Very exciting
Keep
stuff.
the people in the seats.
Oh, yeah. However, the monster we're covering today, despite Germany having that super cop, he was not actually caught by the police. His reign of terror was so erratic, yet so somehow controlled, that it was finished only when he decided it was. So in addition to being a murderer, Peter Kürten was also a prolific criminal, impulsively committing assault, theft, rape, and arson for no other reasons than pure deviance and social misanthropy. And although Kürten's victims spanned a range of ages and included both men and women, Kürten didn't kill the less dead to satisfy his urges, like most serial killers do. Rather, Kürten killed victims who would specifically be missed.
he is a villain in all true meaning of the word. He is a guy that did every single thing he could to maximize pain, terror, and deviancy. There was something about it. It's like, you know that if he did it to then make sure he then did it as fucked up as he could do it.
Yeah.
And then he loved telling everybody about it because he liked the look on their faces when they would register what he did. And he would oftentimes speak to his victims while he in mid-murder, he would tell them like, I am the devil. I do this all the time, and I will do it 100 more times. You're just one. You're just one.
Calm German, very scary.
Always.
Very scary. So he went after the aristocrats and the wealthy and stuff like that.
Every stripe.
He didn't go to aristocrats and the wealthy. Like,
Well,
he
not
never
specifically.
No, not he. He didn't go for rich people. He went for people like children. He went for young
I
women.
see.
I mean,
Okay.
he went for like one of his victims was a fairly prominent man in his little suburb. He was a mechanic, but he was still like a well-known
I
mechanic.
see.
He was well liked. He chose victims whose deaths would have the most impact on society at large.
Absolutely, man. You killed a town mechanic. That is a huge, huge disservice.
But Peter Kürten, on his way, was a missionary killer.
Yes.
Because he was, then we're seeing Panzram, a stripe of Panzram in this, where he viewed all of society as his enemy.
Yeah, it was part of the point, because besides the obvious sexual component, in which, Kürten totally admits to this being an absolute sexual thing, he believed that society had wronged him in the past. So therefore, society must pay with those most precious to it.
So he just got super aroused every time he saw a broken down car. He's like, once again, the mechanic won't fix your vehicle.
I would put him up if they're, again, I don't want to talk about it all the time like this, but if Albert Fish and him were in a horny contest, I don't know who would win. Wow. I don't know how you measure who's the most horny. I think you just show him round objects and then move to square objects if you're still getting hard. But Peter Kürten used to get so hard so often that it was a part of it. It was this driving force, like literally a driving force since he was a child.
Okay.
Well, however, although Peter Kürten was a ghastly, repulsive monster on the inside, he appeared to the world as the very definition of a well-put-together man. He was described as slim and good-looking. He put great care into his appearance every day. He wore cologne, and he kept his hair slicked back full of pomade.
Yep, got that pomade.
He looks really good, and that's a part of, again, but this is my feeding to my theory of his system of total control, is that he wanted to make sure that he looked exactly how he wanted. He wanted to be beautiful doing it. He technically, that is sort of like the satanic ideal. He wanted to be the monster. He wanted to be the monster, but I also can fool you. And I have a wife, and I have a house, and I have a job, and but this whole normal side of my life is also a part of my sexual game.
So very type A, complete opposite of our Vampire of Sacramento.
Definitely. And the appearance thing, that was the last ingredient that allowed Peter Kürten to kill at least 9 people, probably a lot more. And it allowed him to attempt to kill dozens of others. So perhaps Peter Kürten shared more with the modern version of a vampire than it seems at first glance.
And he could turn into smoke.
Remember that movie Dead and Loving It?
Yeah!
What was? Oh my God! Now I'm blanking.
Leslie Nielsen.
Leslie Nielsen was the greatest. Leslie Nielsen is
an enema. That's the only bit in it that works.
the best vampire of all time. Leslie Nielsen.
But before we get into the story itself, let's acknowledge our 2 sources for this series. The first is Monster by C.L. Sweeney. Now, while it is entertaining, it straight up ignores huge parts of Kürten's personality for the sake of a clean narrative and inexplicably changes the murder weapon in certain cases despite concrete evidence that proves otherwise.
It's a little sloppy.
It's
Why?
very sloppy.
They did that same thing with the Iceman movie. Why change this stuff?
But this is nonfiction. It's supposed to it's supposed to be a true accounting,
Right.
but he completely changes murder weapons for I have no reason why.
Okay.
The other source, though, is perhaps the first modern classic of true crime, whose first printing is considered by some to be the holy grail of true crime book collecting. That book is The Sadist by Dr. Carl Berg.
Man, if you want a thorough German examination of a serial killer, this book is a fucking spotlight into this dude's life. And a part of it is, and what I like about it too, because again, what do we know? How do we know as much as we do about Peter Kürten's murders? From his confessions. Peter Kürten loved talking about it. But this is one of the first books I've read, and this is from fucking the 1930s, where a doctor was like, I immediately assumed that he was full of shit because all he did was say all of these details.
Yeah.
And then Peter Kürten, it's like taking back at the doctor saying that my confessions could be full of shit. He was like, it's true. Because of my history in the world of crime, I long and love to create false narratives of crimes. And he would talk about it, and he'd talk about how he would also lie, and then not lie, and do whatever he wants. Great. But it's a great book.
Yeah. Sadist. Okay.
Oh, yeah. It was, the guy that wrote it, he was the medical examiner who worked the Kürten case. So this guy had very extensive knowledge of the autopsies and of the bodies. And there are some amazingly gruesome pictures.
Yeah, we just empathized with Carolina's life having to deal with all the true crime research of this show, but imagine being that dude's wife.
He loves it. She loves it because she goes. He all day he's looking at stab bodies, and all night he's stabbing her body. You know what I'm talking about?
I don't know.
Ba-boom, 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 with the polka music playing in the background. Nothing is more romantic than a German couple deep in their 50s.
It's a very interesting view of couples in Germany at this time.
Well, the thing is, like Henry said, like this book has extensive interviews with Peter Kürten himself, and although he did lie. Like Andre Chikatilo, like Peter Kürten had a near photographic memory. And the things he lied about, like he lied about his capture, he lied about his relationship with his wife, but a lot of his recollections more or less match up with both autopsy reports and the testimonies of survivors. And that's even survivors who never reported their attacks and were tracked down only after Kürten confessed and had no idea that Kürten was involved and didn't come to the police and say like, hey, I think I was a victim of Peter Kürten. It was the police going out and saying like, hey, so what happened on this night? Did something happen to you? And they're like, yeah, something did. This is what happened to me. And the thing was that like while the specific details didn't match up all the time with Peter Kürten, the general details did.
Okay.
He liked to play with the truth, and he liked to play with storytelling, and he also, there was a part of it is that because he would talk about the erotic quotient of his memories.
Yeah.
He said that he could come just remembering. Like, he would go back to the scene of the crime, and he would come his pants just sitting there remembering.
Yeah.
And a part of what it was is that I think he liked to keep the true details for himself.
Well, I mean, how many pair of pants did this guy have?
I mean,
that seems crazy, just walking around Dusseldorf and just like, I even forgot about that one.
Pants
you got
were
no
thicker.
idea how much shooting is going to be in this episode.
No kidding, a lot of that, huh?
Ejaculation. But you
My
know what
goodness.
it is?
I don't know if he played with stories, though. He's not Hans Christian Andersen here. I mean, it seems like he was just kind of a liar.
I mean, storyteller. That's how we say it in my family instead of lying.
So, without further ado, let's tell the full story of Peter Kürten, a.k.a. the Vampire of Dusseldorf.
If you want to be happy for the rest of your life, don't make a pretty woman your wife. I'm going to be doing a lot of dirty polkas.
Oh, okay.
Peter Kürten was born in Germany's Mudelheim-Rhein in 1883, the oldest of 13 children.
Oof. Didn't notice that also. 13. Unlucky. Interesting.
There you go.
that.
He came from a family of alcoholics, and as such, Kürten grew up in grinding poverty. And since Peter was the oldest, he'd get the worst of his father's drunken rages. Then, after the beatings, Peter would lay bloody in the corner of their one-bedroom apartment and was forced to watch his father rape his mother and sisters. And Peter would sometimes have to endure direct sexual abuse from his father as well.
I will say, in one of the only cases I've ever read this, the father ends up going to jail for incest later on. They actually, the sisters and all have testified against the father, and you very rarely get that sort of, there was some sort of justice.
So, considering Peter Kürten's upbringing, it isn't much of a surprise that Peter's antisocial behavior began at a young age. He claims to have committed his first murder at 9 years old, and there is some evidence to support that claim.
Some people say that I've murdered, but I would say some people don't like chocolate.
Well, did you poison the chocolate?
Many secrets.
9 years old.
9 years old.
Was this a murder of an adult or another child?
Well, here's the story. Peter had been invited out to a rafting trip on the River Rhine with two of his friends. As they sailed down the river, Peter pushed one of the boys off the side just to see what would happen. Now, while that could technically be attributed to a kid just not understanding the consequences of his actions, what Peter said happened next shows definite premeditation. The other kid jumped into the river to try to save the one that was drowning, but when the kid couldn't save him, he tried getting back up in the raft. So Peter, impulsively reached down and held his exhausted young friend's head underwater until the kid drowned.
Can you imagine that in the movies? Like the movie version of this, like camera up through the water, like in just his smiled childlike wolf face going.
Very creepy. Very creepy. So both of those kids died.
Yeah.
Yep.
So his first murder was a double homicide?
I mean, I guess the first one would probably be manslaughter, and the second one was, I would say, like a manslaughter murder.
And then he had to do the whole rafting trip alone.
Oh yeah,
Is that what happened?
that's what he always wanted. That's what he. But it was like, what's his name? Remember the little girl that was in that movie, The Piano, and she got nominated for an Oscar.
Yes, and
that was her first film.
well-deserved.
Yeah.
Well-deserved, yeah.
And when Peter was found later floating down the river alone, he was crying, and he told the authorities that the boys had fallen off the river in an accident a little while back. And the thing was, this happened. At the very least, 2 kids drowned on a rafting trip with Peter Kürten when he was 9 years old.
If this whole thing ends with it being proportional dwarfism, I'm going to be really upset. That's a reference to Orphan.
Yeah, and the thing is that we really only have Peter himself to vouch for the method of how the boys died.
And then we have the cover for Problem Child 4, which is just
exactly.
him alone in the raft with the 2 empty life vests next to him.
Well, either way, Peter said that this was the moment he realized he could talk his way out of pretty much anything if only he showed the emotions that people were expecting to see, and if there was no hard evidence that he'd done anything wrong.
I think it's the latter that really helps you get away with it.
Well, especially as a little kid, but it's
Yeah.
like you can sort of imagine it because you've seen little kids do this. Where she's like, and then he fell in the river, and then Bobby went in and get him out, and he didn't get out, and then I floated down the river alone.
Horrified. Man, that's a really scary story.
Yeah.
A sociopath 9-year-old.
Have you seen Facebook? It's most of that.
No, I think that I don't even know what the kids are on anymore.
Now, Peter Kürten didn't become the Vampire of Dusseldorf all on his own. Like Richard Ramirez, Kürten got outside help in developing his eventual monstrous persona.
Yeah, of course. You need to get the Monster Squad. He had the mummy. He had the werewolf. He had.
But in real life.
Okay.
Well, besides the almost daily torments of his father, both seen and experienced, Peter made friends with a dog catcher in his apartment building in Dusseldorf.
Well, I love catching dogs. Look, we got Puffin right here. I get a little pets. It's so nice. It's nice to get him on your lap.
But they kill him.
Yeah. Well, apparently back then, a German dog catcher didn't just roll around town picking up strays to bring him back to the pound. Dog catchers back then would catch dogs, kill them, and butcher them for meat, selling the lard to doctors to, quote-unquote, fix cobwebs over wounds.
Can you imagine being in the urgent care, right? Like you just chop the tip of your thumb off while chopping garlic, but while screaming about your manager. Right.
Now, was that a personal story for you, or?
And so you're in the, but they go and they patch it up, they stitch it, and we're like, we just want to say, it's just like, it's like, go ahead and we'll take your insurance, great. And it's like, and also, you can thank the fixing of your injury too. Muffins. And have the little picture of the dog that you got the lard from.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Well, this sort of work naturally attracted a certain sort of person.
Yeah.
What?
I would think so.
And it seems as if the dog catcher that lived in Peter's building was among the worst. This guy tortured and mutilated his catches before killing them, and then, once they were dead, he would have sex with the dog corpses.
What?
All while laughing like he was having the time of his life.
All right. What is
Like doing the Dom DeLuise laugh as he's
okay? What the?
as he's fucking these dogs.
Right. Instead of getting dies in his
Dead
lap.
dogs.
What on earth? How do we know this? How did this evidence come to light?
Peter Kürten. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and Peter said, like, he did all of this in front of Peter, and Peter was 9 years old. And this whole time, the guy's gleefully encouraging Peter to do this.
All right. So Peter Kürten didn't have a chance in hell.
He did not.
Basically,
No,
right?
no.
'Cause, I mean, this is brutal.
This is absolutely brutal. Yeah. Peter said the guy even showed him how to make a dog ejaculate. And
Every 9-year-old boy wants to know.
And the dog catcher said, or he said the dog catcher told him that after you did that to a dog, according to Peter, quote,
An animal like that can't even be beaten away.
You know what? I'm going to
Making it come.
I'm going to retroactively put gold star on this right here. This is nasty.
I did forget. This is like a gold star. Like this is like through and through gold
Well, you're
star.
just springing it on us, Marcus. I did not have my gold star brain on.
I could just imagine the dog catchers being like, you know, Peter, you're a fun guy. You're a funny little kid. I know I'm 45 and you're 9. We're having a fun time, right? You're enjoying yourself. Yeah, I drink water. I drink beer instead of water because the beer's cleaner than the water. Yeah, you see, we're having fun time. You see, gentlemen. But I want to show you something special, something fun. We've never done this before. You know that dogs make horrible milk?
Oh, my God.
How do they do it?
Oh, I tell you, you pull on that udder. You pull on that udder till it squeals.
That's not milk.
Well, so after this, that began an adolescence of bestiality for Peter Kürten.
Now, this is actually a serious question.
Sure.
You grew up in a rancher's lifestyle.
Yep.
Right?
I mean, in a rancher town, like the lifestyle was, I mean, it was fine, but yeah, a ranch town, yeah.
With people that are surrounded by animals, how often and how normalized is bestiality?
By the time I was, a teenager, it was.
If you end that sentence with had sex with 18 dogs, the podcast is over. And
Yes. In many ways, it's over.
By the time I was 18.
No. That was a completely out of vogue. But, back in the day, pretty prevalent.
So so someone's having sex with a cow. They're like, it's pretty in vogue right now. You're going to want to do it too.
It's pretty cool. Well, having sex with cows is so 1975.
Oh, you mean it's out of vogue?
Yeah.
Oh.
I had sex with a fish yesterday. That's how cool I am. I'm a regular David Bowie.
Wow.
No, I've heard many a story.
Well, if you really want to go mine through the round table of gentlemen
You can
episodes,
go
I'm
mine.
sure we've had a
I'm not
conversation.
supposed to
or two.
talk about it anymore.
But I'm just curious about whether or not
it's pretty. It's pretty normal. But I mean, in where I grew up, like you're talking about calves, so it's a larger thing. They got hooves. They're gonna hurt you if you're not careful.
Yeah,
with it.
man. Yeah,
you
dog
usually
will
need to
hurt
have,
you, too.
usually need to have help. Go read the Last Picture Show. It'll tell you all about it.
Okay, wonderful.
Great. Now I definitely am going to race to fucking Barnes & Noble and get that.
Gotta get it.
Last
Looking
Picture
for
Show's
that
a
book. Hey,
fantastic American novel. It's wonderful.
Hey, Barnes & Noble employee, I'm looking for the book where the guy has sex with all the cows.
Last Picture Show. I got it right here for you.
Okay.
Well, the thing is about Peter Kürten, it wasn't just dogs. Pretty soon, he moved on to sheep, as many young boys did at the time. But it was in this that Peter first made the connection between sex and violence.
This was it.
This was it. Or at the very least, violence done by him. He said that when he was 13, he had broken into a pen and was attempting to have sex with a sheep. The sheep, though, wouldn't sit still, so Peter stabbed it, and in that moment, he ejaculated. But it went far beyond dogs and sheep.
Good. Yeah. Yeah, that's what we're doing the episode, Marcus.
Yeah,
if it's just stopped there, he could have just been a guy that was with a lot of animals. I don't know.
We're still in the animal kingdom here. Like we're hanging around mammalia.
Are we gonna have a Pink Flamingos chicken scene coming up here anytime soon? Or
Peter Kürten said when he was 14, he broke a squirrel's neck, and in that moment, he ejaculated. Another time, he just saw a horse bleeding to death on the streets, and in that moment,
What happened?
he ejaculated.
did he really? Okay.
I'm saying, man, to be honest, to be this horny at a point has to be an inconvenience.
Yeah, of course.
I would think so,
And
especially for the animals.
And this continued even during his murder spree. One night in 1930, he was walking near the edge of a lake in Dusseldorf when he spotted a sleeping swan. He grabbed it, cut off the head, then drank the blood flowing from the stump.
What?
And in that moment, he ejaculated.
Yep.
Okay, so that
Saw
is-
that coming. That was
Yeah, I
no
did.
Henry Prize winning story there.
I saw that coming. I also think, is that the original ending to The Ugly Duckling?
Whoa, how fucking
I
dark
don't
that
know.
would be. That's if Darren Aronofsky redoes it like in a movie. But do you think he looked at that swamp? He's like, okay, what's the most mental fucking way I can fuck up this lake?
Can you imagine walking through the park? It's so
having a
fucking-
good day in the park? Not anymore, bitch!
Oh my goodness! All right.
Yeah, just some maniac drinking blood from this long stump of a swan.
I will tell you what, you can at least thank me for not using a straw.
I just say, I guess its neck was the straw that he was using that was just disgusting. But why is it this? So people knew he was doing this.
No.
They did not know this.
No, people
Okay.
did not know he was doing this.
All right. Because
Yeah.
if they did, theoretically, he would have gotten into some trouble,
Yeah,
right?
he wasn't a YouTuber
Okay.
desperate for content.
Okay. All right. Good to know.
Well, Kürten said that many times it wasn't necessarily the act of taking a life that made him ejaculate. It was simply the sight and sound of gushing blood. This is what he said to Dr. Berg during one interview.
You can imagine that, Professor, and you must try it for yourself sometime. How the blood rushes absolutely silently when you cut off the head of a goose.
God, just what a horrible day
Yeah.
to be a janitor at that
problem is that-
therapist's office. When he comes in, you just know in 2 hours you got a lot of cleanup to do.
Well, they put a tin underneath him. They put like a
I
litter box
see.
underneath the chair. But I feel like professors in Germany, I mean, like, to be honest, it's like psychologists in Germany or psychologists in general. It's like, don't get me wrong, there's going to be psychologists out there. And we're going to ask these questions quite a bit as we go. But I feel like psychologists would be like, yes. Like, as soon as it
Oh,
comes in,
you
'cause
got
it's-
one? Like, this is a good
Yeah,
story?
this is a good one, yeah.
And by the way, as far as how Peter preferred his ejaculations, he said spilling it out of a flaccid member was the nicest way of all.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Like you're dropping your gum out of your mouth. It's nothing better than
Okay.
like when like squid, the end
all
of the
right.
strudel.
Fucking soft penis just going.
Yeah,
Just like at
Good
the end
Lord.
when you got the toaster strudel and you got that one little like pea-sized dollop of it left in, and you're just trying to slap the packet until it gets all out.
the old one-eye weep. It is disgusting.
But again,
That is-
you can see how it's being contrary.
Yeah.
It's him saying this.
he is
fucked
so
up
contrary and he comes soft.
Yes.
That's how you know he's contrarian.
stuff. He is the most libertarian comer of all.
Good Lord.
I don't even need to be hard. Okay, you don't need to be hard.
So when Peter was 16, he decided that he'd had enough of his family, so he ran away from home. His father had just set him up with a job at a local woodwork, so Peter broke in, stole 300 marks, and took off.
And this is actually after that was his father's final, because they knew about the animal fucking.
Yeah.
They knew about all this stuff as a little kid. And he said that's what broke that's the straw that broke the camel's back with his father, because his father set him up with the job. And then he was just like, fuck you. And he just took money and
All
left.
right. Well, I don't think the straw that broke the camel's back is the proper analogy. We don't need to have any more ejaculate
Yeah,
conversation.
it's the dick that hit the camel's prostate.
Right. But then his dad has no standing here to be ashamed of his son because his dad's a horrible piece of crap himself.
Well, it was actually during the investigation into the theft that investigators discovered all of the rape and incest that was going on in the Kürten home, and that's how Peter Kürten's father got arrested and sent to prison.
Okay.
Peter Kürten was caught 4 days after the theft, and thus began a life of imprisonment, theft, rape, arson, and murder that would last for over a quarter century until his capture in 1930. From 1900 to 1904, Peter was in and out of prison for a series of thefts. Then, in 1904, he committed a string of barn arsons that earned him an 8-year stretch behind bars.
Say barn arson. How many times in a row you get a free sub over at Subway? I don't know.
The old Barson there.
And prison was the place, according to Peter Kürten, that made him who he was. Of course, Peter did not blame himself for committing these senseless crimes that had no real purpose. He blamed all his bullshit on authority figures, saying they, quote,
Caused him to be so dedicated at seeking revenge.
Okay.
However, he never went into why that time was so awful. Although Peter was ready to talk to Berg about any of his horrific times, do it with a smile, the only time he'd get angry or really show any emotion other than joy was when prison was brought up.
He said that they, the one thing that, a detail that I saw is that he said that they would use the they would use the punishment of fettering
Yeah.
more often than
doesn't
not.
sound good.
But that is being chained to a wall. So they said that they would use ankle chains.
Fetters.
Okay.
Yeah.
These
Okay,
fetters.
fetters. Yeah.
They would chain him to a wall, and they said that one of the only times that he was viewed by an outside person is that a local bishop came and saw him in the fetters and was so moved at his punishment he fell to his knees and kissed the fetters out of pure sorrow, which is just like, first of all, disgusting. He was just trying to fucking suck that little boy's feet.
Who knows? So this is like, we talk about the stew all the time. We are in full on. This has got the childhood with the dad.
This is a
got the
slow
best
cooker marinade of a gabadouche. I don't know what the hell this is.
So, and I firmly believe, I'm sure they did horrible things. God knows what they were doing in German prisons in the early 19th century.
Well, I mean,
Or
he
I guess
said
20th century.
he said he did spend a lot of time in solitary, but he said that was the only time he really enjoyed in prison because he got a little alone time. But mostly, Kürten said he spent all his time thinking about murdering the entire world.
Again, that's why you gotta ask, what you thinking about? What are you thinking about?
But you never say anything. You go, nothing.
Nothing.
That's how you know it's bad. But I will say this has been the difference between Panzram and him, right? Because I do believe he was thinking about murdering the entire world, but not in sort of that driven, I wish the whole world had a throat so I could crush it thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think it actually made him hard.
Yeah. I think he wanted to, because Panzram just wanted to take care of the world all in one fell swoop.
Right.
Peter Kürten wanted to kill every person one by one.
Slowly, huh?
Yeah, he wanted to take care of it himself. In fact, he said this, quote,
I'd think about attacking staff and inmates, setting the place on fire. I'd like to sabotage the railways to kill as many people as possible. Yeah, if I had the means, I would have killed the masses. I would have caused catastrophes.
Honestly, he sounds like a character I just friended in Red Dead Redemption. He sounds like a character I just friended in Red Dead Redemption, and that makes me really. I'm going to talk to my character about geese, and when we drive by a dead horse, I'm just going to look at him really, really close and make sure everything's okay.
Oh, you mean floating slushies?
but Kürten, he did his time, and when he was released back onto the streets, he made good on his promise to unleash chaos upon the world, hitting the ground running with his first confirmed murder.
Okay.
See, when Peter was released, he went straight back to petty thievery, specializing in houses where the ground floor was used primarily as a business while the families lived and slept upstairs.
Now, the way he puts this, he did do this for survival.
Yeah.
Like, he was on the streets. He was living on the street. He had no other job. I mean, obviously, he didn't try to get an honest job, but a part of it was that he was just stealing to eat as much as he could.
Okay.
So on May 25th, 1913, Peter Kürten targeted an inn called the Wirtshaus Peter Kleinschenke, owned and operated by who else but Peter Klein.
Oh.
On that night, Kürten moved from room to room, finding nothing to steal, until he spotted 10-year-old Christine Klein asleep in her feather bed. Acting on a whim, Kürten entered her room, strangled the little girl, and sawed her throat open with his pocket knife. He then masturbated and left. And there's other details in there too. I'm not going to talk about them. I don't want to talk about them. You don't want to hear them. If you have the burning urge to know the more horrific details of Peter Kürten's crimes, you can go ahead and check it out online, but I don't want to get into it.
His ultimate in perversion, we'll just say it out loud. Just one thing is like he liked to degrade the bodies. That was his favorite. That was his thing. That's what he would do. But for us to go into detail after detail, it's going to be a point where you're just going to drive your car into the fucking river.
Right, exactly. We cannot have dead listeners. So this was the first kill.
This was his first confirmed kill.
He really jumped into the deep end here.
Yeah.
That's why I don't think it was his first kill.
Right.
This is the part of it's because the idea of jumping straight from petty theft to full-on sex murder of a little girl on a whim is very interesting. And it's also the way he did it, too, because that little pocket knife would become a thing that he did again and again, where he would purposely stab the throat with a little just to make the spurt come out.
Mm-hmm. Well, he did say that he attempted to strangle a woman in 1899. There was a couple of attempts before this. So this wasn't, I mean, a lot of times the guys, the serial killers, like they don't go all in with the first kill, even though they may commit some assaults and rapes before that. But Peter Kürten, he went all in.
He knew immediately what he liked. As soon as it happened, the thrill that went through his body was a thing that he said that he was trying to reproduce that feeling again and again and again.
Right.
So the next day after the murder, he returned to the scene of the crime and had a beer at a cafe across the street so he could bask in the misery he'd caused, later saying that all the horror and indignation did him good. Oof. Now, Peter had thought that he'd left nothing behind at the crime scene, but it turned out that he'd actually left a very incriminating piece of evidence. He'd dropped a handkerchief that had his initials embroidered into the fabric.
Fucking Mr. Beaning it over here.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, though, PK also happened to be the initials of the victim's father, Peter Klein. So rather than drive the investigation towards Kürten, the handkerchief actually sent investigators on a wild goose chase that damn near got another man hung.
Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah, dude, it destroyed the entire Klein family.
Yeah. See, the night before, Peter Klein was seen having a very public altercation over money with his brother Otto in a local tavern. According to witnesses, the last thing Otto said before he left was that he was going to do something that his brother would remember for the rest of his life.
Cut to him just double-deckering the upstairs toilet. Just be like,
Exactly. I mean,
He's always going to remember this. We're going to laugh about this every Christmas time.
and that's a classic prank.
It's a great prank,
Yeah, naturally.
Now, even though Otto was just as distraught as everyone else, I mean, his niece was dead. His beloved niece had been horrifically murdered. Even though he was just as distraught, brutal crimes, as we well know, often result in hasty arrests. Mm-hmm. So this poor guy was charged with the murder of his niece, which damn near added a second death to an already tragic murder. Otto, though, was thankfully acquitted, but he was never the same and died in the killing fields of World War I just 2 years later.
Yikes.
Meanwhile, Peter Kürten's impulsive act of murder had only left him wanting more. In June, he began the first of his many phases, because throughout Peter's career, he experimented with a wide range of techniques and weapons, which is part of what made him so difficult to even identify, much less catch.
and to me, that is a subconscious, almost bragging.
Yeah.
The way he would talk about his crimes later on, the simple and direct detail work, and he would talk also about upping his game, and he would talk about trying to add things to his toolbox. He would add stuff like he would say he was searching for a new thrill. Like he would do all stuff. He would purposely try to make it the crime a way that he would be easily caught, and then he would just manage to get away from everybody. Like we talk about H.H. Holmes.
Mm-hmm.
So he was adapting, and I don't know if this will stay in or not, but you guys have a horrible idea about what's going to happen with Michael Phelps. And I want to say this, speaking of adapting, Michael Phelps, Olympic hero, hats off, thank you, sir. All those gold medals. Didn't go unnoticed, but you know what else is going? What is going unnoticed? His work in mental health. He is working in mental health now, and you guys think he's a sociopath. And he is not. He's saving lives.
I never thought he was a sociopath. That wasn't my opinion. That was Henry's opinion.
That's Henry's opinion.
Is just saying because of fate and because people like watching our heroes tumble, and because of the pressure of that, I can see Michael Phelps just being in a scenario somewhere in his 40s where like there's a dead woman in his pool.
No, it's not happening.
It's not him. It's not him. It's his buddy Craig.
Who? Craig? Never have a friend named Craig. No, that's not
Craig Rowan is a wonderful
Yes,
friend
he's
of
a
mine.
wonderful guy. Your pretty face is going to hell. Check him out on that show. Michael Phelps doing some good work.
He is doing some good work, and I applaud him for being open about his struggles with mental illness.
Yeah, even making his fall even more ripe for the media to allow themselves to dance on his grave.
Well, the first weapon that Peter Kürten experimented with was a hatchet. At about 11 o'clock on a Saturday night, 1 month after the Klein murder, Kürten had left home with what he called his chopper.
Get back to the chopper!
He spotted a girl of about 20 about to walk into a building alone. Kürten said he walked up behind her just as she was entering, and he whacked her on the head with the thick side of the hatchet, sending her crumpling to the ground without a sound as Peter ran away.
Now, this is very common with Peter Kürten. He is not he sort of tracks his victims, but it's really spur of the moment.
Yeah.
He likes heat, and it's all outside.
He's like Chikatilo.
Yes, it's all just whatever can come, and that's a part of the reason why I think that when you spend a lot of times doing these sort of stalking and doing all this shit, you're opening yourself up to being investigated. You're opening yourself up to being seen, which is a part of the sexual play of people who spend a long time choosing their victims, especially like BTK, where he liked the build, he liked doing up. Where Peter Kürten, who was that he had an impulse, he walked out of the door, he saw somebody, he murdered them immediately.
Yeah. Well, the next month, Kürten walked up to a man sitting on a park bench just as the sun was setting, and Peter sunk the sharp edge of the hatchet into the man's skull again, causing the victim to silently collapse. But this time, Kürten took cover nearby and watched as the blood flowed from the wound. And in that moment, he ejaculated.
He ejaculated.
Oh, I thought that was going to be different this time.
No, absolutely.
Okay.
I do wish he didn't say, "Did I do that?" every single time that he did that, because it's like, again, because catchphrases wear thin, which is why I stopped doing Detective Popcorn for as long as I have.
Right, absolutely.
Well, there was one more attempt made on a sleeping teenage girl, but a man jumped up from a nearby bed just as Kürten was about to swing the hatchet, so Kürten just threw it down on the girl's blanket and ran off. Now, that last one is interesting because there was actually a witness to corroborate the story. The man who jumped out of the bed was the girl's father, and he later reported that he did indeed find a hatchet in his daughter's bed one night after chasing a man away.
But did he go to the police in this situation, or?
It's so fucking difficult. They're already sleeping in a tenement house. It's all this fun. Like, it's so difficult for them to, like, piece all this shit together.
So this is
what
like
are they
lower income.
What are they going to do, I mean, I don't know if it was lower income. I think it was like, middle, like probably lower middle. I'm not sure exactly, but yeah.
So he's been sloppy since day one then, with the handkerchief and now the axe.
Yeah, I mean, he's just kind of doing whatever, but it's also erratic.
It's weird that it's so erratic because he seems like he's all buttoned up. He's got everything, all his shoes are shined.
That's
wearing
what I'm
nice
saying.
outfits, good mustache.
It's all about the packaging. All of it is on purpose. Each part of it. Him being super erratic is a part of the game. It's about seeing what he can get away with.
Yeah. But that attempt on the teenager, that would be Kürten's last attempt for many years, because in 1914, things got a little hairy in Germany.
What happened, Marcus?
Kürten was conscripted for service in World War I, but predictably deserted before he saw a moment's combat.
Because this is what Marcus and I were talking about a little bit, about how it's just like, well, if he just held out because he got arrested in 1930, it's like he could have been a part of the fucking German government, or he could have been a successful German businessman.
When you imagine someone yelling at him, I think you just freak out.
That's what we said.
He's got too much of a rebellious streak. He couldn't stand authority, so he actually probably would have hated the Nazis.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, but for different reasons than everyone else.
He just doesn't like to be told what to do.
Exactly.
He's like, I'll be a Nazi on my own. I was already doing the Nazi shit. You're a bunch of fucking hacks stealing my bullshit.
Well, because he deserted, he was arrested soon after, and he spent the entirety of World War I plus 3 years extra in a military prison, and was released in 1921 after 7 years.
So we got to miss the whole war.
Missed the whole thing, yeah.
Not so bad, actually, really. Kind of got exactly what he wanted in a way.
Mm-hmm. Following that, Peter reconnected with one of his sisters and joined her in a small town called Altenburg, where he made the acquaintance of his future wife, Augusta. Now, Augusta had a bit of a checkered past herself.
I think it's kind of fun.
She had shot and killed a gardener with whom she'd had an 8-year relationship after he suddenly broke off their engagement in 1911. And she'd done 5 years in prison for the crime.
That's sexy.
These prison sentences are quite interesting given the extreme crimes.
It's just like, you got 5 years for the murdering of a stupid little garden.
It's not right.
It's not right. But it's very interesting because he showed up at his sister's house. He showed up at his sister's house. And it's like a whole other guy showed up. Mm-hmm. He showed up being like, "Sister, I'm here. I'm going to bring the sort of house guest life back into this house. I'm your Sinbad."
Yeah, it's like when Fester shows up in Adam's Family, and you're like, I don't think he's really Fester. I don't know.
But he didn't tell his sister like where that he'd been in prison the entire time. He's like, "Oh yeah, I was in the war. It kind of sucked, but I'm fine. I'm here now."
Anyway, now back to dancing at the discotheque. But he met Augusta, and she was like, because they were desperate to hook Augusta up because Augusta was a spinster because she sort of killed her last fiance.
Kinda, yeah. Seems like it.
Now, the romantic myth of these two that somehow got propagated over the years was that Peter Kürten was a monster to the rest of the world, yet was a kind and loving husband to his wife, and he was never, ever mean to her, much less abusive.
It is the exact opposite.
Always. This is the Iceman narrative, too. These people are horrible.
It's the exact same narrative as the Iceman, because as we know, like, the monster in the streets, sweetheart in the sheets trope doesn't exist in the real world.
You got to flip that.
Yeah. A psychopath is a psychopath no matter what, and they don't just magically leave their shit outside when they come home at night.
I mean, isn't the only one that I would push back mildly on is Dennis Rader? Because I heard, according to his oldest daughter, he was actually a really good dad.
I'm going to bring this up again. This is the connection between him and BTK. And I'd love for a psychologist, a listener, to tell me if I'm right or if I'm wrong or their opinion about this. Is that I believe that Kürten, same thing with BTK, all of it is the game.
Yeah.
All of it is the game.
So
being a good dad was actually like a psychopathic victory for Dennis Rader. Being a quote-unquote successful husband, which you're going to find out, though, he did repeatedly rape his own wife.
Yeah.
He was very, very abusive. He was a terror to be around. But a part of it is the outside of it, a whole part of it. It's like, how empty are psychopaths?
Yeah.
Like, and I mean like clinical psychopaths. Like, can they actually feel the emotion of love? Do they know what that means?
No.
Because love is specifically about having empathy and understanding of somebody else's feelings and looking out for somebody else in their life. So am I imagining, it's like, I can't, for the amount of chaos and horror that both of those men caused, that the idea that they would flip and be somebody else, it's like, I don't think so. I don't think that's possible.
No. Dennis Rader's the only one that stands out in my mind.
Well, I think Henry's right about that, with at least as far as like Dennis Rader goes, because like, I mean, you could see Dennis Rader, providing for his family, and his wife telling him, like, I love you so much, you're so good to us, you're such a good man, and him just thinking in his head,
can't wait to get back to the garage. I got a brand new pair of panties in there.
And then because you know what it is, because from what I've read about psychopathology, is that it's not evil. It's shallowness.
Yeah.
It's this thing. It's that there's nothing there. There is no Peter Kürten. Mm-hmm. It's just a man operating like a robot in order to keep his shit together in society.
Yeah. Well, for an example, as far as Peter and Augusta went, they went out on a couple of dates when they first met, and when Augusta refused to sleep with Peter, he told her he'd stick a knife through her ribs if she didn't. By 1923, they were married, and that pattern held until he went to prison. And for some reason, some people, like these writers out there, are trying to make it sound like, oh, Peter Kürten, that's the one thing he loved his wife so much, and he sacrificed so much for his wife.
Some people don't have redeeming qualities.
Yeah, exactly. Some people are just straight up pure monsters.
You know what it is, though? It's selling a narrative.
Yes,
I can see why you want that,
yes.
because a part of it, you want to say that it makes him more interesting, that he has this double life.
Yeah,
but
it's why the Iceman was, why they made
that
movie the way they
that.
did in The Iceman.
Dylan Klebold, Eric Harris, same fucking bullshit. I hate that lie, that propagated lie over and over again. It's so bad. They're just bad people.
Yeah. Well, the saddest part about Augusta was that she believed that she deserved her life with Peter Kürten because she'd killed her ex-fiancé over a decade earlier, and that anything that he did to her was just punishment for what she'd done. But at the very least, Peter Kürten did not immediately go back to a life of public crime following his release from prison like he had the time before. He kept his shit relatively under control for a full 4 years until he arrived back in Dusseldorf in 1925.
But he purposely sought out going back to Dusseldorf.
Yes, he did.
There was something about going back to the old stomping grounds that he wanted. He was like, because I wanted to go back and bring hell specifically to Dusseldorf.
Right, like how Michael Myers goes back to Haddonfield.
It's exactly like that. And that, in Dusseldorf, is when Peter Kürten's true reign of horror began in 1925. He started by attacking women on the street, strangling and raping 4 between 1925 and 1928. And in that same period, Kürten committed, by his reckoning, 32 cases of arson around Dusseldorf. Those included 2 houses, 4 barns, 1 plantation, a forest, and a whole shitload of sheds.
Jeez.
A lot of sheds.
So many sheds.
So hard to put up a shed. You gotta
really
get it, you gotta
hard.
plank it all down. And you know what it is, too? And then Kürten said it because his favorite part, it wasn't about the fires and stuff. It's like,
No.
he loved the chaos afterwards. He loved seeing all the people struggle to go. And all he ever did was hope that somebody was inside that they would die.
Yeah.
So he's doing horrible things to people, horrible things to anything around.
Yeah, anything around him. Yeah, in one night alone in 1929, he set fires in 10 locations. And all this was building back to the act that Kürten had first supposedly committed when he was just 9 years old. Murder.
Murder. Honestly, he and Varg Vikernes may have been good friends. Didn't Varg burn down a bunch of churches?
Oh, yeah,
burned
of
down a
course.
lot,
Yeah, they'd have a great time, yeah.
Well, the first true attempt at murder in Dusseldorf came on February 3rd, 1929. During Peter's lunch break from the factory that day, he decided that after his shift ended, it was finally time to kill again. And it was going to be either a woman or a child.
Do you think he had
whichever
a-
one he came across first.
Do you think that he had a calendar? That he just went and he would just go through the days and he just randomly wrote them in like kill again, like just
got to the day.
February 3rd.
It was on his lunch break. He said he was walking around Dusseldorf and was just looking around and thought like, today's a day. All right, let's
Okay.
do it after work. Yeah, no, my lunch break's almost over, so I don't have enough time to fit it in before.
You know
then.
Yeah,
what's
I do.
important?
It is interesting. He's like, but I've got to go to work. My boss is going to yell at me. I'm just 5 minutes late.
But it's so important to tell other people your goals so you're held accountable to it. So I made sure I told the man that is the bathroom attendant at the factory. I said, well, today I'm going to kill again. And he went, okay, sir.
My goodness.
Yeah, so after he got off work, Kürten wandered the streets until he found a young woman named Maria Kuhn. He grabbed her from behind by the lapels, pulled her behind a bush, and brought out a pair of scissors. He covered her mouth with one hand and stabbed her 24 times with the other. Then he ran away. However, Maria Kuhn survived. Now, Sweeney, for some reason, wrote in Monster that Kürten let her live in the hopes that she would tell the police about what happened, but it was a foregone conclusion that she was going to tell the police. And that doesn't really make much sense anyway, because Peter Kürten didn't want to get caught. He wasn't a guy that wanted attention necessarily, like not to him completely. If he got caught, then he wasn't able to do anything else to make people feel weird. In fact, that claim is actually contradicted by Kürten himself. He said that he was surprised when he was cleaning the attempted murder weapon, and because he found that only 10 millimeters had broken off of the sharp end of the scissors. And he was surprised because he was like, I thought I stabbed much deeper than that.
But I guess not. I guess they did not. It's like when you're planking for a minute and you check the clock again and you think, oh, I got to be almost done. And it's
Right.
like you've only been doing it for like 25 seconds.
Yeah, it is like that, Henry. It is indeed.
Yeah.
That is interesting. So did he use the scissors because it was another random
Just
was
wanted
just
to.
fucking
Yeah.
there.
So he's
dude.
used.
Yeah.
So he's got the hatchet. He's got the scissors.
He looked at the scissors and thought, "Wouldn't that be fun?" I mean, and that was his entire thought process. He'd look at a weapon and he'd think, "Boy, that'd be a lark, wouldn't it?" So let's use the scissors this time.
All right.
Don't they teach that in the Mossad and stuff like that, where it's like you can kill people with a soda can, you can kill people with
I
like a
don't mess
chair
with
and
them.
shit.
I don't mess with Mossad or Krav Maga or anything like that. Like those guys that's a different level
But
altogether.
yeah, they can just do that though. They can just
Yeah.
grab stuff and kill you with
Yeah,
it.
they can sharpen a strand of hair and poke it through your neck.
Not my hair now. I only have so many left.
I know.
Well, Kürten would not make the same mistake with his next victim, and this one would be far crueler than the last. And I think, let's say gold star on this one.
Yeah, it's all rough.
Yeah, well, I would say this whole, throughout this entire series, like, there's going to be some pretty fucking rough murders here. On February 9th, Peter Kürten spotted 8-year-old Rosa Olinger playing alone in her front yard. He snatched her up, covered her mouth, and took her to the nearby woods where he choked her unconscious. Then he stabbed the child 13 times, including once in the left temple. Kürten then pressed his lips to the temple wound and drank the blood that flowed forth, and thus the Vampire of Dusseldorf was truly born. Then He went to the fucking movies.
He does this a lot. It seems that after crimes, like he'll go and fucking grab a beer.
Yeah,
just,
grab
like,
a beer, go, and he said he went to the movies because he still had a free ticket in his pocket. Like he discovered that he had a free ticket and was like, oh, that sounds like fun. Let's go do that. That's how blasé he was about this.
Okay.
But also keep in mind that the blood sucking is just what Peter Kürten said he did. There was rumors in one of the autopsy reports that was like, well, that could be a bite mark. It might be a bite mark, but we can't confirm that. And also, like, it's hard to believe that a man could pull off something like the murder of Rosa Olinger or the attempted murder of Maria Kuhn without walking away completely covered in blood.
Right.
But rather acknowledging that, this is a near impossibility, Kürten turned it into what seemed like a point of pride. He said that he rarely got bloodstains on his clothing.
He also, remember, people wore more clothes then.
Yeah.
When that's the way he would even describe it too. He would remove his jacket, and then he would cover himself up. He would do a thing that's a little bit blood. I can also see the way he did it, because the way it seemed to be is that he would knock them unconscious, get them on the ground, stab them while they're on the ground.
Yeah.
So he's up above and then carefully doing it as much as he can because, again, wants total control.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and, that's the thing. Peter almost always committed his crimes outside. The wounds match up with what Peter said he did, and the timelines match up as well. And he knew shit that only the killer would know, so he wasn't taking credit for the crimes of others. And yet, no one ever saw Peter Kürten walking through the streets of Dusseldorf, obviously looking like he'd just killed someone. But either way, even after the murder, Kürten was not yet done with Rosa Olinger. After the movie, Kürten filled up a bottle of petroleum and returned to the body of his victim with the intention of setting it on fire. But since it was the evening and too many people were out and about, he went back home. He woke up the next morning at 6 a.m., told his wife that he was going to the bathroom, and then just left the house.
He's going to do what he's going to do.
Yeah.
You going to tell him not to? Because you've seen what he does when you tell him not to do shit. He flips out.
He returned to the crime scene, poured gasoline on the body, and set it aflame. He said he felt no sexual charge from this act in particular, and the only reason why he did it was to cause excitement and general indignation.
Yeah, dude, so you can watch it across the street. He went and he got a beer across the street and watching the whole scene unfold. Just sit and watch all the cops come with a burning body sitting there, and then it died down.
So he wasn't aroused with all the fires and stuff like
He was.
that?
He
was aroused.
It was just this one in particular.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, there was another one. Yeah. No, he was definitely, the fires definitely aroused him, but not in the same way that it's really strange, because it's not in the same way that it makes guys like David Berkowitz, how arson made him hard.
Right.
For Peter Kürten, like, it wasn't about just watching the flames; it was about the chaos that it caused.
All the cops showing up and shit.
So he's just watching, and then he gets to be his god. He's like, they don't even know that I'm the one who caused all of this.
No, but
and
then
all
he
of that
would
kind of stuff.
He would then insert himself into the investigation.
Yeah, because when the police started interviewing guys in the area, Peter just kind of threw out a little bait so the police would question him. He was just kind of standing there, like, acting like he had some important information, but he was just too shy to share.
You're going to have to maybe give me a little bit of chocolate if I were going to say something. But he would go and he would talk to the police like our old friend Bumblebutt.
Oh, yeah, like old Ed Kemper.
Yeah, we've talked about this before, and you see that I think we've mentioned the first 48, whenever someone just be like, I gotta sell, I'm innocent. And they're like, who are you? Why are you here? I didn't do it.
I didn't do it, that's for sure.
Yeah, Peter Kürten, he extracted as much information as he could from this police officer, because it's all about getting someone to tell your own story back to you.
So Peter Kürten's just listening to the cop, being like, what do they know?
Yeah.
How close are they? Do they think it's me?
And it's like, well, not do they think it's me, but it's not even necessarily about seeing how the investigation is going. It's seeing how much information you can get about the crime from the cop.
Also, hearing the details of what you find out, what they know about the body, would get him visibly erect. Like, we keep saying, like, the hard thing, like it's me being funny saying hard. It is, he said that he wouldn't understand how he could speak to a police officer, and he was like, I'm sitting here with a full erection, speaking with the officer. And no one says anything because everybody's too, I guess, polite or with different social standards.
Yeah, but I don't know. How many times are you talking to a dude and you, like, happen to look down at his crotch? I don't look down at people's crotches. If you had a boner right now, I wouldn't be able to tell.
I certainly don't.
I don't know. I mean,
certainly don't.
I don't know. Interesting. Whoa.
Yeah, and Peter said the entire time he was talking to the police officer, he's just sitting there fantasizing that he was fantasizing about killing him.
Oh, yeah, that was fun, because he was a rookie.
Yeah.
That was the problem. He talked to this, like, fucking goobery dude who's like, well, there's a lot of contingencies in a police case. But as he was just like, I knew how easy it would be to kill this police officer right in front of me in the rush of that. It engorged me, watching his little Andy Rooney lips slipping back and forth in his hat, wobbling on his tiny little head off.
Andy Rooney lips. Andy Rooney was classic. What was the name of his segment? Let me tell you something. You're being mean to me. What was the name of that one?
This is terrible. That's terrible.
No, Andy Rooney, the 60 Minute?
Yeah.
Is that him? Who was the one that was in the cop show?
Are you thinking of Mickey Rooney?
No.
Mickey Rooney was in the Little Rascals.
Well, the
Andy
one with Don,
Rooney.
the one with Don Knotts.
I don't.
Andy Griffith.
Yeah.
Andy Griffith. Andy Rooney would be
yeah.
like, why is there still a thing around cigarette packs? What is it, going for a swim? Like, he was angry about everything.
Yeah, Andy Rooney just sounded like a really serious Jerry Seinfeld.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Peter Kürten, for his next murder, he changed his victim profile yet again. 3 days after the Olinger murder, Peter traveled to the Dusseldorf suburb of Flinger Nord.
Just making up names now.
We'll call it a flinger nord. With any luck, it'll stick.
There, he followed a popular local mechanic named Rudolf Scheer out of a beer house after Rudolf had tied one on.
He was on his bike.
Yeah. Kürten approached Scheer on the side of the road and stabbed him 20 times, including the temple, which would turn into a calling card of sorts for Kürten until he switched his methods once again.
Okay.
And just like with Olinger, Kürten stuck around until Scheer's body was discovered the next morning. Then, in order to build a tolerance back up, Peter Kürten took a summer vacation from murder. And that's where we'll pick back up for the conclusion of Peter Kürten.
Oh, my God.
I'll tell you what, you can take a vacation for murder, but murder can't take a vacation from you.
That's right.
Look at that. Remember that, everyone. Be safe on your vacations, but that's not until next summer, so forget about it for now.
What? How did this become about vacations? I will say this, is that if you're thinking about murdering, you know what I think you should do?
No.
I mean, don't do it.
That's number one.
Get a pumpkin.
Get a pumpkin, carve it
You
up.
can stab the fuck out of a pumpkin.
We had a great time carving our pumpkin this week. Yeah, go ahead and get yourself. I mean, even though this episode's coming out like after Halloween is over and done with. But you know what? Just go out. I bet there's a bunch of pumpkins out on surplus. You can buy some like old pumpkins, and then you still got a pumpkin for a couple of days.
Stab it.
Do something creative with it.
Yeah. And again, it was the true crime boom in Germany. This was horrible what happened there. If you want to make it on our show, find an alien. That's the only way. Or a ghost.
Yes,
aliens
please.
or ghosts. That is the only way you're going to do it.
Yeah, we will not. If we find out you're a listener and you're a serial killer, we're not going to cover you.
No.
I'm going to tell you this right now. We won't.
We absolutely will not.
We'll think about it.
Out of principle.
I want alien footage.
Alien footage would be wonderful. But thanks everyone for listening. We'll be back next week with Peter Kürten Part 2. But we're going to be on tour next week.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
We're going to be coming to Dallas, Austin, and Oklahoma City next week. We still got tickets available, so be sure to come on out for that. Go to lastpodcastontheleft.com to buy your tickets. That is November 7th in Dallas, November 8th in Austin, and November 9th in Oklahoma City.
And we got tickets available for OK City and Dallas.
Yes.
Go get those tickets. They are going to sell out. We're going to have a good ass time.
Ooh, yeah. Don't wait till I know a lot of you guys are waiting till the last minute.
Uh-oh.
Don't wait till the last minute.
Don't wait till the last minute.
Don't you fucking do it.
Don't do it. Can't wait to see everyone in Texas again. And Oklahoma City. I've never been, and I am really excited.
Baby.
It's nice.
I've heard it's nice.
We are going to get some fucking steaks.
Yeah.
In OK City, baby. Oh, yeah. I already know that we are already planning on it. I'm already
Nice.
finding us a place.
Very
Don't
nice.
you
Really?
fucking worry your little cholesterol-leveled head, boys.
I don't care.
We're going to get so much animal fat injected into our holes, we're not going to even be able to do that show.
All right, it's canceled.
And, of course, we're also coming to Indianapolis on the 30th, on November 30th. That's going to be our warm-up show for our big Chicago Chicago double shot. We're going to be filming a special. So
We're going to
everyone-
be getting the lead out also with our
We're going to be going out to Indianapolis on November 30th. We're going to be warming up for our double shot in Chicago. So we'll see everybody out there in the Windy City. Coming up next, we got Detroit Rock City from here.
Oh, man, I thought Man Cow was going to be on.
KUIJ Rock 108, Abilene's only rock.
Thank you for embracing what people like to insult us by saying that we're shock jocks, but guess what, man? We like it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We like it.
Yeah, we kind of grew up listening to that shit.
That's what we do, and guess what? It just means, as far as I'm concerned, you're just mad that we have energy.
There it is.
Yes, there are plenty of places if you like, Peter Kürten, the Vampire of Dusseldorf.
No, isn't that an unfortunate series of events?
Honestly, it was so funny. I was just thinking about this story. About 7 or 8 years ago, I met with the dude at NPR. Really nice guy.
But then he's
and
like,
I was
"Yes, I'm so
touring
glad.
the...
Do you want a bottle of water? Or
I was just touring the studios, and I think it was Lear, Jim Lear, or someone was doing a show, and he looked so sad. They were like the sad guy in Howard Stern when he's
Are you
like,
talking about Tom Lehrer?
yeah, he's great.
I love
But
Tom
I
Lehrer.
love him too. But it was just, I was like, we don't do that kind of radio. And then I remember I was like, yeah, man, I really love radio. I think we're doing a lot of good work. And I sent him Round Table of Gentlemen. And I don't think that that's really for NPR.
You sent Tom Lehrer a round table?
No, the main guy.
Oh, the main
Who was
guy.
in charge of program. I was like, I think he's going to love it.
you gotta love it.
He didn't email me back.
I remember you telling me about that. You were like, dude, I just made this great contact at NPR. Gonna send him around. Which episode of Round Table you think I should send him? I was like, dude, I don't know.
I don't know any one
What about the one where they drink all the Four Locos or like the other ones?
Well, thank you guys so much. Please give it to our Patreon if you so choose.
You
Yes,
so
thank
choose.
you.
And thank you to everybody who already gives to our Patreon. Yeah, if you feel like we deserve a little bit of a compensation for the show, you can go to patreon.com/lastpodcast on love. And you also get a bunch of cool bonus stuff, including interviews, t-shirts, stickers, depending on how much you donate. So thanks to everyone who already donates, and thank you in advance
Yes.
to anyone who plans on
And
it.
support all the shows here on LPN. All right, everyone, hail yourselves.
Hail Satan. Follow LP on the left for all the bullshit.
Uh-oh.
If you want to do that.
Okay, yeah, sure.
And Hell Keen.
Hail me!
Magustalations.
Halloween has passed, but these spirits still live.